My name is Brittany Magdal, and I will be performing 3 different pieces of poetry. My first piece is Birches by Robert Frost. When I see birches bend left and right across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging on them. But swinging doesn't bend them down to stay, as ice storms do. Often you must have seen them loaded with ice a sunny winter morning after rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored. As the stir cracks and crazes their enamel, soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow's crust, such heaps of broken glass to sweep away you'd think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the withered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are barred, so low for long, they never right themselves. You may see their trunks arching in the woods years afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair back before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say, when truth broke in, with all the matter of fact about the ice storm. Now am I free to be political? I should prefer to have some boy bend them, as he went out and in to fetch the cows, some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was what he found himself, summer or winter, and could play alone. One by one, he subdued his father's trees by riding them down over and over again until he took the stiffness out of them, and not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. He always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing carefully, with the same pains he used to fill a cup up to the brim and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a swish, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So was I once myself, a swinger of birches. And so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of considerations, and life is too much like pathless wood, where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it, and one eye is weeping from the twigs having lashed across it open. I'd like to get away from Earth a while, and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate willfully misunderstand me and half grant me what I wish and snatch me away not to return. First the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree, and climb back branches up a snow-white trunk toward heaven till the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good, both going and coming back. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. My second reading is After Hearing a Waltz by Amy Lowell. But why did I kill him? Why? Why? In the small gilded room near the stair, my ears rake and throb with his cry, and his eyes google under his hair as my fingers sink into the fair white skin of his throat. It was I killed him. My God, don't you hear? I shook him until his red tongue hung flapping out through the black, queer, swollen lines of his lips, and I clung with my nails, drawing blood, while I flung the loose, heavy body in fear. Fear, lest he still not be dead. I was drunk with the lust of his life. The blood drops oozed slow from his head and dabbled its share, and our strife lasted. One reeling second, his knife lay and winked in the lights overhead. And the waltz from the ballroom I heard when I called him a low, sneaking cur, and the wail of the violin stirred my brute anger with visions of her. As I throttled his windpipe, the purr of his breath with the waltz became blurred. I have ridden 10 miles through the dark with the music, an infernal din, pounding rhythm inside me. Just hark! 1, 2, 3, and my fingers sank in to his flesh with the violins. Thin and straining with passion, grows dark. 1, 2, 3. Oh, the horror of the sound! While she danced, I was crushing his throat. He had tasted the joy of her wound round her body, and I heard him gloat on the favor. That instant I smote. 1, 2, 3. How the dancers swirl around. He is here in the room, in my arm. His limp body hangs upon the spin. The waltz we are dancing, a swarm of blood drops and hemming us in. Round and round, 1, 2, 3, and his sin is red like his tongue, lolling warm. 1, 2, 3, and the drums are his knell. He is heavy, his feet beat the floor as I drag him about in the swell. My second reading is The Sorceress by C.S. Calvarley. Where are the bay leaves, Thysillus, and the charms? Fetch all, with fury wool the cauldron crown. Let glamour win me back my false lord's heart. 12 days the wretch health not come night to me, nor made inquiry if I die or live. No clamoured or unkindness at my door. Sure his swift fancy wanders otherwhere. The slave of Aphrodite and of love. I'll off to Megitus, wrestling school, at dawn, that I may see him and denounce his doings. But I'll charm him now with charms. So shine out fair, O moon, to thee I sing my soft low song. To thee and Hecate, Theodore in the shadows, at whose approach in the dogs quake. On she moves through blood and darkness and the bowers of the slain. All hail, dread Hecate, companion me unto the end, and work me witcheries. Potent is Circe or Medea wrought, or Primerde of the golden hair. Turn, magic wheel, dawn homeward, him I love. First we ignite the grain, nay, pile it on. Where are thy wits flowing, timorous Thyse? Shall I be floated? I be such as thou pile, and still say, this pile is of his bones. Turn, magic wheel, dawn homeward, him I love. Delphius racks me, I burn him in these bays. As flame enkindled they lift up their voices, blaze once, and not a trace to left behind. So waste his flesh to powder in you fire. Turn, magic wheel, dawn him homeward, him I love. And as I melt, not uninspired, the wax, may Medine, Delphius, melt this hour with love. And swiftly as this brazen wheel wheels round, may Aphrodite whirl him to my door. Turn, magic wheel, dawn him homeward, him I love. Next burn the husks. Hell's admiration, floor and up that else stands firm. Can Artemis move? Theophilus, the hounds bay up and down the town. The goddess stands, I, the crossroad. Sound the gongs. Turn, magic wheel, dawn homeward, him I love. Hush are the voices of the winds and seas, but oh, not husband the voice of I desire. He burns my being up with left me here, no wife, no maiden in my misery. Turn, magic wheel, dawn him homeward, him I love.